What's happening, everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out an affordable mountain e-bike from Duotts. The one that we have here today, it's called the C29. Of course, the C29 means that we have 29-inch wheels. The bike is also equipped with the mechanical disc brakes. You could also buy this bike with hydraulic disc brakes, so probably it's worth spending a bit more money to get hydraulic disc brakes on this. The bike is also powered by a 750 watt motor that's located in the rear wheel there, and we have a 15 amp hour battery pack right here. Other than that, the bike does look kind of like a regular bike. With that being said, let's start by doing a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you how this bike comes packed in the box and what you have to do to get this ready and on the road. Alright, so the bike comes in a fairly big box, obviously because the bike itself is fairly big. Now, the box and of course the bike is not that heavy, so this has a weight of about 26 kilos. So when compared to many other e-bikes out there, I guess this is not that heavy. You have to do a bit of an installation when you first take the bike out of the box. You basically have to put the front wheel together, the front light, the handlebar here. And in the box, you're also gonna find a couple of plastic mud guards. I haven't installed them on my bike because I find that the bike does look better without them. But if you live somewhere where it rains a lot, you're probably better off to install those as well. Alright, so the biggest advantage for this bike is definitely the value that you get, because this is a fairly affordable bike and you do get a lot for your money. First of all, we get these 29-inch wheels. These also have tires from a really good brand. With a lot of other bikes, cheaper bikes, let me say, the tires that you get on those aren't usually that great, but this bike actually does get really good tires. And of course, the tires are also a bit wider than your typical mountain bike. On top of that, we also get mechanical disc brakes. As I mentioned earlier, you could buy the bike with the hydraulic disc brakes. So maybe you're better off to just spend a bit more money and get better brakes on it. On the back here, we also have a rack. So if you need to carry something, that will definitely come in handy. Our battery pack is right here in the center. This is a 15 amp hour battery pack. So you can get about 50 to 60 kilometers depending how you ride. Now, on the manufacturer's website, it says that you can get about 100 kilometers, but I typically cut that in half because that's unrealistic, let's say. The battery pack is also removable, so you don't necessarily have to charge the battery pack on the bike here. You can just remove the battery pack, take it upstairs or in the house and charge it that way. We also have a front and rear light. Now, nothing really special about these lights, but we definitely get lights, and that is the important part, because with a lot of these cheaper e-bikes, you don't typically see a rear light. But with this one, we actually have a rear light as well. The seat here also has a lot of padding, and it's a fairly big seat as well. So riding the bike is fairly comfortable, well, whenever you're sitting here. Talking about ride comfort. Now, like most mountain e-bikes, your riding position is a bit leaning forward, and this is the case with this bike as well. So the handlebar here cannot be adjusted in height. So whenever you are riding, you do have to put some pressure on your wrists because you're kind of leaning forward constantly. I'm not a fan of this riding position, but realistically, with all mountain bikes, you're gonna get a fairly similar riding position. You've probably noticed by now that the bike has a front suspension here as well. Now, this only gets about 2 inches of travel, so nothing crazy, but it will definitely help whenever you're going over uneven terrain. But I wouldn't necessarily take this bike off-road, if you know what I mean. Now, the manufacturer says that on the back here, we have a 750 watt motor. Now, I have to say that for a 750 watt motor, it feels a bit on the weaker side because I've tried many bikes that have 750 watt motors. So for me, this feels more like a 500 watt motor. However, even like this, I feel that the bike has plenty of power to go pretty much anywhere, even if you're riding on a steeper incline, even if you're riding on a flat road. It typically gets to that 25 kilometer an hour speed limit without you actually having to put that much effort into pedaling. Alright, so we have a quick hill climbing test to the C29. So I'm in assistance level 5. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera. And the second gear. So I'm gonna start by pedaling. We also have the throttle here. So I'm gonna accelerate a bit with the throttle and the pedals. So this bike is equipped with a speed sensor, so you have to start moving the pedals in order for the motor to assist you. But once you get going, it does seem to go quite easily. So even though this is not the most powerful bike that I tried up until now, it does seem to do quite well on hills like this one. So powerful enough, I'm gonna say, so you don't have to put that much effort into pedaling. The bike is also equipped with a 21 gear Shimano system, so if you don't necessarily wanna use the battery pack and the motor, you can just ride this as a regular mountain bike, as a regular bicycle. And because the bike is not that heavy, you definitely can ride it without using any power, just with your legs basically. Moving to the handlebar here is fairly wide, so whenever you are riding, you don't feel cramped at all. Now, the grips here do seem to move quite a bit, so they do feel kind of cheap. On the left-hand side, we have a couple of buttons, so we basically have the horn and the button to turn on the light. This is how the horn sounds like. So fairly loud, I'm gonna say. We have our headlight and rear light there, and then we have the screen right here on the left hand side. Unfortunately, with this screen you can barely see it if it's a bright day out, so I'm definitely not a fan of this screen because it's almost impossible to see whenever you're riding, mostly if you have sunglasses on. So I guess that is a downside to having a more affordable bike like this one. Alright, so let me quickly show you how easy it is to ride this bike. First of all, it looks like any other mountain bike. Aside from that battery pack in the center there, you couldn't really tell that this is an electric bike. So of course we have the power button right here. The bike is on. We have 5 levels of assistance. You change levels of assistance from these buttons here. And we also have a throttle here, so you can accelerate with the throttle when you start moving, or you can start pedaling and then the bike will start assisting you. So I'm going to show you how it goes with the throttle first. So that easy to accelerate with the throttle, or you start pedaling, and because we have a speed sensor, the bike will start assisting you. So that easy to ride this bike. We'll do a brake test somewhere around here. So you can definitely lock that rear wheel if you want. I'll do that one more time. I'll brake slower this time. So every time you wanna get going, you basically either accelerate with the throttle or you start pedaling and the bike will start assisting you. Shifting gears is also done very easily, so no problem whatsoever. So yeah, this is how easy it is riding the C29. So to quickly conclude this video, for the price, because yes, this is a fairly affordable e-bike, you can't really go wrong with a bike like this. It has plenty of power. The battery pack is fairly big, so you can easily ride for about 50 to 60 kilometers before having to charge that. The seat here is very comfortable. We have this rack on the back here. The bike does look quite good. The tires are really nice on it as well. I would probably just upgrade the brakes, so just buy it with the hydraulic disc brakes over disc brakes. I mean, it still does okay with disc brakes as well, but if you only spend a few more bucks to get the better brakes, maybe that is the way to go. So I can't really say anything bad about the bike because the value that you get for the price is really good. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.